Hi there. Welcome to Infinite Stories. This is the podcast where we sit down and interview everyday people just like you and me. This is your host, Mitchell Vine, and boy, do we have an incredible story for you. Let's jump into this week's interview. Hey, why don't you introduce yourself, Paul? Who are you?
I am Paul, and my name's Paul Harrell. I am from Indiana, born and raised in central Indiana. Currently I'm in Martinsville, which is a suburb of Indianapolis. And I am 35 years old, and I have been following Jesus for, around seven or 8 years or so, I think. I'm really bad with dates, so anytime along this whole thing here, any dates I say, take it just roughly. I'm terrible with dates. But yeah,
That's
me
awesome.
in a nutshell here, like I said, I'm just a guy who loves Jesus and love him so much I want to talk about him. And other than that, you're currently seeing my recording studio here. I like to do music, and I record music, and I also do podcasts of my own about Jesus and the Bible. And yeah, I'm sure that Mitch will probably leave some links or something at the end of this. But it's called a What the Hell podcast, and that's my podcast, and
Yeah.
maybe you can come on mine and be a guest sometime.
Dude, I would love that. I'm always
that'd be
down.
awesome.
I've interviewed so many people, and I've only had one other person ask me if I wanted to be on theirs, and I was like, I don't know if it's rude to invite myself onto someone else's podcast, so I've always just kind of let it be. So
Right. Yeah,
That's
no, definitely.
awesome.
I'd love to have you on sometime, man, for sure.
Awesome. Well, hey, we're here to hear your story. So I would love to kind of get like the background of who Paul was like as a kid. Like, what are some of your earliest memories of growing up?
Paul as a kid, well, my earliest memories, let's see here. Um, Man, I mean, I don't know, like, I had a pretty good childhood, I guess, like, I can't, I'm blanking on, like, some specific memories to share, but, like, I had a good childhood, like, we were happy, and, we didn't, we were pretty poor, really. We didn't grow up with much, but I didn't know that when I was a
Mm,
kid. Like it just seemed everything was normal the way I grew up. But like it was cool. We were happy. We played outside a lot and rode bicycles and dirt bikes and stuff like that. Me and my little brother, that's what we were into as kids. But we didn't really, we weren't a religious family or anything, and we didn't go to church. Um, like I guess I remember asking my mom a couple times just like why don't we go to church or what do we believe about God and stuff like that, just random like curiosities that a little kid would have, you know. And because I knew like she identified as a Christian and then identified us as a family as Christians who believe in Jesus, but it was never talked about and we never went to church. But so it was just kind of confusing for me once I started meeting people who did. And her answer was short and simple and still holds true, honestly, a lot. But she has said that we believe in God and in Jesus, and she said that you don't have to go to church to believe in Jesus and to believe in the Bible, and which is definitely true. Uh, there's nothing false about that, but I think being in a church, an active member of a church, I think is definitely a good idea for most people. But yeah, so but that
mm.
little nugget there, like that thing, like that's the only thing to do with Jesus or the Bible or anything really that I had growing up as a child. Like that was pretty much literally the whole summation of my knowledge and relationship with Jesus as a child.
That's
And
awesome. So then,
yeah.
one of my favorite questions I ask on the podcast is, do you have an early memory of sin, like an understanding of like what was right and what was wrong? Anything come to your mind?
That's a great question, man. Man, I'm trying to think of some specifics to give you here, but I might think of something.
No
But
dates.
Yeah, regardless, even if you got a date from me, it would be wrong. I promise you. But um, I don't know. Like as a kid, like at least from my personal experience, I feel like everyone innately knows, just in their nature and in their being, like you know what's right and wrong. At least that's how I've
Mm,
always felt. Like some people, like I've heard some people talk about this and say that they didn't really have that, or thought that something that is obviously wrong, like had no clue it was wrong, and things of the sort. Which has blown my mind. It's hard for me to wrap my head around. But I don't know. As a little kid, like I don't know. As a kid, like I got in trouble a lot. Like I was like I said, me and my friends, like we were just kind of wild, and we were into punk rock and skateboarding and stuff. So like we were just being stupid, really, but like not doing anything bad. But we were stupid kids. We were wild. But at the same time, like I always like had those morals, like just knew in my heart what was right or wrong.
mm,
And like any given situation, like as a little kid, and you're just like you just get that feeling, and like this is not good, like this is bad, you know what I mean? And that's just, and I've always followed that even as a child, not knowing. Like now I would say that that's the Holy Spirit,
mm.
and that's a conviction of the Holy Spirit. That's not what I would have called it then, but I still follow the same as I do today.
Hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. So then,
If
kind of
that,
hanging around that childhood era, what were some events maybe
yeah.
as a kid that just like formed your character? Like,
Man, that's you got some good questions here.
I'm full of them,
Uh,
man.
I don't know. I would like to be able to. Well, that's awesome. You're good at what you're doing, but I'd like to say something like all American Christian family type stuff, like my dad and things like that. But like it wasn't like I was on my own a lot as a child, and just because the way things were, and like I don't know, my reality and my character and things were formed largely due to like the culture of the things that I was interested in and thought were cool.
Mm,
Again, and still to this day, that's largely true for me. I would say, but like the whole punk rock culture and like skateboarder culture, like that's what I've always been deeply rooted in. Even now, I have a different outlook. My outlook is different on some things, but like still it holds true. And
mm,
but that's what shaped me a lot as a child. Like people I looked up to that were in that culture and those playing in bands and skateboarding and stuff, and people I thought were cool, the culture I thought was cool. That those things shaped me
mm,
largely, and
mm,
had a huge influence on my life.
mm,
And not to, I don't want to like skip ahead in this because you're kind of keeping it linear here a bit, but like even still today, like I said, I still am, but you throw Jesus in that mix, and this is hard for some people to understand, but to me, in my mind, it makes perfect sense to me. But that counterculture, that punk rock and skateboarding and and the rebellion and all of that, like I see and feel the same thing in Jesus. And
mm,
like some people are like, what? And like and it's total, to me I see them as the same thing almost. And that's partly why I fell in love with Jesus so easily.
mm. That's awesome. So then, kind of leaning into like the middle school era, was the punk culture, the skate culture, like did that build your identity? Is that where you're leaning?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's always been my mindset and my identity. It's all, and it still is. It's just I don't know if you're into the same kind of things or not, but like just that whole like I feel different. I feel like I don't belong here, and I don't feel like these people over here, like I don't relate to them. I don't understand them. That they don't understand me. But like
Mm,
that, like gave me an identity in a place where I was like, okay, now I get it. Like these people over here, like they're saying the same things that I'm thinking and feeling. And
hmm.
yeah, it largely shaped my whole identity and my whole mindset. Definitely. at that
Mm,
time, for sure, for sure.
mm. So then, were there any lies that you believed about yourself in that time frame?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm positive there were. I don't know where those lies came from necessarily. Like now, I would say obviously the the adversary, the one that we're all fighting against and being lied to by. But
Mm,
then I don't know. I guess myself and whatever that voice is in your head. Again, the enemy and the
hmm.
Satan. And but yeah, I'm sure. Like lies like you're not worthy, lies that you no one will ever get you. You don't belong here. Like you can't do any good. Just
Mm,
go away. Like you know what I
yeah.
mean? You're alone.
Mm,
Like that those kinds of things.
mm, yeah. A
And
lot of lies
as
of
it turns out,
worthlessness.
like
Yeah.
oh yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right. And that's how I felt. And and yeah, but now all these years later, like I see it the total opposite way. And it's quite amazing really how it's all turned out.
Hmm.
It's really crazy
That's awesome. That's awesome. So
because
then
those
let's.
in those same in those same lies I find truth, and in those same feelings of
Hmm.
worthlessness, now I find purpose. Yeah.
Hmm. That's incredible. So then let's lean into the high school era. Like what are some things that happened as
Uh-huh.
a high school, maybe jobs, relationships? How did your identity get formed out even more?
Yeah, man. In high school, like in large part, like I said, it was all I don't know, like I had to grow up really fast as a child, and like by high school, like I felt like I was a 40-year-old adult in my mind. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like and I just by around that time, like I just wanted to have fun, and like I didn't, I don't know, like I was just well, not being a bad person, I wouldn't say. Like I always felt like I'm a good person, but like I was just wilding out and having fun and like trying to be a kid where I felt like I was lacking. But at the same time, like things you just mentioned, I started getting into like more real life, more grown up kinds of things, like having a girlfriend, getting that first job, getting a vehicle, and all those things. And it was just this weird mixture of all of that, of growing up and having these new experiences and these new freedoms and all this, but at the same time, I'm not trying to make up where I felt like I didn't get to be a kid, so also just wanting to have fun and being a kid and making up for lost time. And it really got to be this really odd experience. I don't think a lot of people share. Maybe I'm wrong, but it was confusing. Honestly, it got really weird and really confusing. And was honest when like looking back now, I could see like how all of it was kind of foreshadowing like a period of my life that I'm sure we'll get into soon. That was not good. That was dark,
mm,
and it was that confusion that kind of started the whole thing of like I said, growing up, but not wanting to grow up because I didn't get to be a kid. So I wanted to just have fun and
mm,
screw off in school and all that. But I don't know. Like I said, I had to grow up fast, and school was even another reason why I had to grow up so quickly. Had a weird experience in high school. Like I said, I was partying and screwing off with my friends during school. Didn't take it seriously, but I was always really good at school. Like,
mm,
uh, and at the school that I attended, it was Indian Creek High School in Trafalgar, Indiana, and they go by like I forget what they call it, but they had like it was a college grading scale rather than the typical high school where everything was much tougher. Like in most high schools, like 51 out of 100 is passing, and but there it was like I think 76 was passing, 75 and below is failing, and like
mm,
a lot of schools like it's based upon like your day-to-day assignments in school, your homework and all that. That's what your grades based on the whole. But there, it was just none of that mattered. It was just what you did at the end of the semester on the final test, the final exam for each class. And like So like it was really like perfect for me, and I really kind of loved high school because I got to party and screw off with my friends and do what I wanted, and didn't really pay no mind in school. I was just there to have fun, but still at the end, like I would pass almost every test, 100%. Like if I missed a question, I would be so mad at myself.
Mm.
And I've just always been I've been good at that always. And like I even had some teachers who took a liking to me, like some old school type, like very strict, like ruler in hand, like smacking their hand in chalkboard, and like you can't get out of line at all. You can't talk. You can't put your head down. You look away, like they're on you. And like those types of teachers would let me, like, I'd walk into class and go sit in the back and eat a snack and go to sleep. And everybody else was like, why does he get to do this? And like, they just took like an interest to me because like still like I said, at the end of the semester, at the end of the year, I'd I'd passed the test. And yeah, it's just always been easy for me. And I've always actually thought highly of education, even though I kind of wasn't taking it as seriously as I did. But anyways, I was going to be valedictorian of when I graduated high school. Uh, but I come in on my senior year. It's still confusing for me. And like I said, this time's a really confusing time for me. And it was kind of a big thing. Like I come in senior year, I think it was actually the second day of school, if I remember right. Um, and the principal come and got me, and I was like, here we go, I'm in trouble again. Like, like I've spent a lot of time in the principal's office, but I go down there and they're like, all right, well, you're going to need to clean out your locker and get out of here. And I was just like, what? Like, I thought it was some kind of joke. They're like, yeah, you got to go. You can't come back. And I'm just like confused. And I was like, hold on. Like, if you're kicking me out of, I'm kicked out of school. And they're like, no, you have to quit school. Like, you have to drop out of school. And I like remember looking behind me because literally on the wall behind me, there was this big sign that said, stay in school. Like, like telling kids to not drop out. And like, here they are, the principal telling them, like, yeah, you have to drop out of school. And like, it was just so weird and confusing for me. But the reason being, and I guess this law has changed since then, but, and this would have been in 2008, 2007 or 2008. But, like I said, I grew up quick. I was on my own. I was living in my own house, in my own apartment, and everything, but still going to school, still working a full-time job, and still going to high school. I didn't have to, but I wanted to. I thought it was important. And then they're telling that, and they found out about that, which I didn't know there was anything wrong with that. But at the time, I guess the law was you had to go to the school district in which your parents reside. And I did not. I didn't live with my parents. And so they make me quit school. And like I said, I was on the verge of being the valedictorian that year, and I was like so stoked about it. And yeah, I just couldn't believe it. Still, like a kid who like is obviously like I said, I got in trouble a lot and partied and all that. Like a kid who obviously was like on the verge of like maybe going down the wrong path that they knew of, and but was still didn't have to go to school, but still showed up every day and was going to be valedictorian. And you're telling me like that kid is coming to school and doing that, and you're going to make them quit? It just didn't make sense. And that was a pivotal moment in my life.
So what happened? What happened after that?
Yeah, it was all bad, really. That was kind of like I felt like the system had failed me or was against me or something, and it was honestly like a pivotal moment in my life that I was like, okay, well, screw this. Like I tried to go down like the right path and like stay
Mm,
in school and all of that when I didn't even have to. And then, but that betrayed me. And now like, okay, well, with the rebellion and counterculture and skater punk rock, okay, I'm going to go completely the other way then. And I'm going
mm,
to rebel against it. And if the system's going to fail me, I'll do it on my own way. Well, that
mm,
way, it was a downhill spiral kind of from there. And yeah, moving into adulthood, it was yeah, the start of a downhill spiral that got out of
mm,
control.
yeah. No, I completely understand. I can think of a couple different times in my life where I was shut down on different opportunities, or I was kicked off of a missionary trip one time. And it's like when these like pivotal things happen in your life, you're just like, well, I tried. And now if this is
Right.
where it's gotten me, what is the point, realistically? Like why should I move forward in the way that either I was taught or what the system wanted me to believe or whatever it might be? Yeah, no, I definitely, I
Right.
hear you. So then what came after
Yeah.
that? What brought you to where you are with the story?
Yeah. So here, I guess, uh, is where we really start to get into, like, I guess, my story, my testimony. And it's cool that you can relate to that, by the way. Like, I feel like some people can't. But anyways, like I said, now I'm an adult and I'm in the world and I'm on my own and I'm working. I've got my own place and like, but at the same time, like said, I felt like I was let down and betrayed by the system or whatever
Mm,
what you're supposed to do. And so here I am. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do good, but I'm gonna do it my way. And I don't know what that is yet. Don't know what that looks like at that time, but I'm gonna do it. And I set out to do just that. And I guess it was always a struggle, but like I guess you could say like I kind of did that for a time. Um, but I kept on, and like I was with a girl I was with in high school, and we had been together for a long time since we were like kids basically, and we moved in together and started our lives and had a baby, and it was awesome, and everything seemed to be going pretty well, and like we were doing it, and like I had a decent job for as young as I was, and she did too, and we had a baby, and I was still playing in bands and starting a recording studio and all these things. Like so, like on the outside, like it seemed like it was a success, and like everything was working, but like it was all just. It's amazing that it even happened at all because it was all hanging by a thread to begin with, and
mm,
began to dwindle away, and things got real because we got into drugs really bad, and all this is all happening at once, and like we were maintaining for several years. We were maintaining as I guess what you refer to as functioning addicts,
mm,
and uh, as we got into the drugs and like when life goes on, the drugs got worse and worse and more and more of them, as in more different kinds of drugs, and it just escalated and escalated. And of course, like nobody can hold on for that long. So, that like when you're using drugs the way we were, like I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did. But like
mm,
eventually, everything started falling apart. Like in just one thing at a time, it just started falling apart and started losing things, and it started to get really dark. And little disclaimer, like before I go any further with the story, like I just want everybody listening, I want you to know, Mitch, and everybody listening, that anything that I talk about, like on this darker side of things, and about drug use and anything of the sort, like please don't get it twisted. Like I want to be very, very clear, like that it's not to glorify any of those things because they're not to be glorified. Like the only reason I put such emphasis on any of it is to get to where the story is headed, to Jesus. So you could just see the
mm,
great what he can do, and the great contrast between the two
mm,
is the only reason. I just want to make that clear to everybody. Um yeah, I feel like it's a given, but I just want to make sure because some people have got it twisted before and
mm,
get upset or whatever the case may be, and I just don't want that to happen. I'm not glorifying anything of the sort. I want Jesus to be glorified above all. But
mm,
anyways,
for sure.
I feel it's necessary for the story. So I hope that's okay.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we got heavy in the drug use, and functioning addicts for several years, and then things started falling apart, and I started messing things up with my band, which aside from my family, like was the biggest part of my life, and like I ruined that, so I was depressed about that, and and then the relationship with me and my old lady at the time, like it was started going terrible, and we started losing things like cars and studio equipment and all our stuff, and then lost our house and had to move in with her parents, and then that led up to ultimately, which was the next huge pivotal moment of our downfall, and which I'm not proud to say, but we lost custody of our son, and that really messed me up badly,
Mm,
and that's what pushed me over the deep end into a really, like, before, sure, I was messing up, doing things I shouldn't do, bad in the drugs, but I didn't see it as like this really bad negative thing.
mm,
Now, like I was still in a good mind space, like I was just having fun kind of thing and doing it my way. But now, through that happening, losing custody of my son, like I was in a dark place. Like that pushed me over the edge and cared. That actually even spun even more out of control, down deeper into drugs. And it ended up homeless. And for 2 years, I was completely strung out on heroin and other drugs, and ended up living in a tent under a bridge on the east side of Indianapolis in a
mm,
bad neighborhood. And yeah, it was really dark, man. It was about as low as I think you could go, but I may be
mm,
wrong, because every time in the past where I've thought I was at the lowest, something happens and you fall through the basement floor and you realize there's another level of rock
mm,
bottom. So I don't know if there really is a rock bottom, but I was pretty close to it, if not there. And it was
mm,
dark, man. And mind you, this whole time, like I don't, I remember what my mom said when I was a kid, that, and then, but at the same time, somewhere along that line of things, like I decided like I didn't believe in God. And that's not the right way to put it, but I still haven't found the words to this day, even though I've told this story many times. That's still not the right words, because really I did believe in God in something, but I didn't know I didn't know it intimately enough to know that that was what it was. But
mm,
whatever it was that I believed in, that's I was fighting against it. That's what
mm,
I was doing. And like I knew that at the time, just I wouldn't have used the same words, but now I can use it in those words, and that is what I was doing for many years. I was fighting just the same way I've fought against, like, having to grow up and didn't get to be a kid as a child, and fighting against like the family structure, and then in school fighting against the system there that I felt failed me, and then
mm,
moving forward into being an adult and fighting against like the workplace, and then losing myself and all those things. It became the same kind of thing in my mind, where I was rebelling and I was fighting hard against God is what I was doing. And I like to think that I'd like to think that I'm a pretty strong-willed person and can endure a lot and get through a lot. And man, I fought hard, and God wore me down, man. He did. Like he let me have it, and like I'm already starting to tear up a little bit, like just talking about it. But like he did, man. I'm so thankful that he did, because he wore me down, and I fought hard, but I was no match for God. I was no match at all, and I thought I
mm,
was.
mm,
I really did. And I gave it all I had, Mitchell, man. And I fought and I fought for years, and I don't even know why. I don't know why I was fighting so hard against God, but I was. And that became like not just a thing I was doing, but it became like my life. That became my whole life's mission, was to fight against this, to fight against God, to fight against everything, and to do it on my own.
Mm.
And man, that was a terrible idea. And I don't know what I was thinking, but it was like that's what I was thinking.
Mm.
Anyways, I gave it my all, and I fought as hard and as long as I could, and he wore me down and wore me down, and I said I kept hitting what I thought was rock bottom, and then I was like, ha, see, I'm still here, I'm still doing it, kind of thing, like yelling out to God, see, I'm still here, and
Mm.
not giving in, still fighting. And then he'd pull the floor out from under me, and I'd falter again and again and again. And I was mad at the time, but man, now, like, thank you, God. Like, thank you for doing that. And he wore me down, he beat me up.
Mm.
And, anyways, this goes on. And now we're in the year, I think, 2016, I believe. Yeah, I'm bad with dates. It was the summer of 2016, I believe. And I've been on this mission to fight against God this whole time, and I've been through a lot. I've been to jail. I've been homeless. I've been in a lot of bad situations. And anyways, I find myself completely worn out, completely desperate, completely just done. I was done, Mitchell.
Mm.
Like I was done. I was tired. I couldn't fight anymore. I had nothing left. I was a failure, not just to the system, not just to family, but not even to myself and to God. I was just a failure, and I was done. I was
Mm.
desperate. And this is the craziest part, man. Like, and mind you, in the past, like, I was always scared to share this testimony and to share this story with people, because at first I thought people would think I was crazy. Honestly, like that, with what's about to happen. And I was always so scared. Like, I was like, no, everybody's gonna think I'm crazy. Maybe I am crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't tell people this. I can never talk about this.
Mm.
But now, over the years, and I've shared this story with thousands of people, actually. Like, I've shared it in public forums and churches and Bible studies and podcasts and just all types of formats. And each time, even still right now, which is why I'm prefacing what I'm about to say with all of this, is because part of me still feels like they're not going to understand. They're going to think you're crazy. Like, don't do it.
Mm.
But in the end, it always turns out I was wrong. And that was just lies
Mm.
from the devil.
Mm.
But, anyways, I find myself at the lowest that I'd ever been. Like, actually, let me back up just a little bit. I found myself for a brief moment, I was doing good again. And
Mm.
what had happened, I went to jail for a time and got out. I was clean off drugs. I wanted to stay clean. I moved back in with my parents and, like, put my pride aside and sucked it up and was trying to start completely over. I moved in with my parents after jail, stayed clean, and got a job. And within like a month or two, like, I had a job, I had a car, and was on the verge of probably like getting my own place and just all the
Mm.
things. It's doing
Mm.
good, but still, I was doing it on my own terms, like my own strength, my own will, my own way, and selfishly all for me. And I was like, see, guys, like I told you, like, do this, like, but it was all me, 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 me. Like, look at what I did, and
Mm.
I just ruined my life for 15 years. But now in 2 months, look, I built it all back. Look at me, I'm awesome. Like,
Mm.
I did a good job. That's what I thought and how I felt. And then something happened, and we don't have to go into details of what happened, but something happened, and immediately, like, boom, all that was gone, fell completely off, was right back to where I was before, in the darkness that I just come out of, and saw just a
Mm.
little bit of light. And nope, the light switch went off, and I was back in the darkness, back worse than ever, and had failed again. And now I find myself, like, more desperate and more dark place than I ever imagined. And I was done at the end of my rope. And then I got heavy back into drugs, of course, worse than ever. And I was doing heroin and speed at a ridiculous rate to get combining them together. And I felt like I was losing my mind. And uh, it's sorry, it's just it's hard to find the words to describe the low and the darkness, but
Mm,
hopefully you get it. I'm just trying to paint this picture. But and then I started to feel something, man, like even worse than I'd ever felt before. Like something was telling me. I didn't know at that time that something was God, but something was like, "Hey, man, like this isn't a game no more. Like you thought that was dark, what you just came from, and
mm,
what you're currently back into. You think that's bad. What's about to happen? This is nothing compared to what's coming." And dude, like I don't know if he like showed me a glimpse of what hell is like, or what a godless existence is like, or what he showed me a glimpse of, but my God, it scared me. It scared the living hell out of me. Like I
mm,
was terrified. And I was like, what? I was like, what? What? Like, I've been through all this. I can handle all this. Like, and I thought this was the worst that could be offered, that could be handled. But what was coming
mm,
was going to be far, far worse. And I was scared, man. And anyways, here I am, strung out of my, I'm just scared to, sorry about that. And, scared to death. And I'm out of my mind on drugs. I had been up for days, probably close to a week at this point, and was running from this darkness, whatever it was, like physically running. And I find myself in a McDonald's bathroom at about 4:30 in the morning, one morning, and I was just there because I had nowhere else to go. And I had nothing. I was on riding a bicycle, uh, with a backpack full of drugs. And I went to this McDonald's. They were just opening the door, and like I'm sure I looked terrible because like I remember the look on the ladies' faces that were opening the door when I come up and asked them like, "Hey, can I just come in, hang out for a while and charge my phone or something?" And they like look at me like, "Yeah, you definitely can. Like you obviously need it. You like and come in." And they're like, "Here, like have something to eat." And they gave me food, and like I ate all this food I probably hadn't eaten in days at the time. I
mm,
hadn't slept in days, hadn't eaten, hadn't showered, and I ate all this food, man, and a ridiculous amount, and and I'm still like my only thing on my mind is like whatever that glimpse of this darkness was that I was just shown, and like I was scared of it. I didn't know what to do, and anyways, I go in the bathroom in this McDonald's. I'm not saying, and like I'm not saying I was trying to kill myself. I'm not saying I was trying to commit suicide because that wasn't what was on my mind, but like it was like if I'm at the end of my rope and if I die, I die is what was really like I just didn't know what to do.
mm,
And I took all the drugs I had, mixed it together, and did speed and heroin mixed together that should have killed me. Like there's no ifs, ands, buts. It would like the amount I did, it it would have killed 10, 12 people probably. Like it, I should have died. And
mm,
I did that in the bathroom stall at McDonald's, and like mind you, like I'm bawling, man. Like I'm so scared. I'm literally shaking. I'm crying, and like a little girl. Like I'm in the bathroom sobbing, and I remember like while I was preparing this, like, and I was in the bathroom for probably at 45 minutes or an hour, and they're crying, and like people would walk in, and like would ask me if I was okay and knock on the door and like kind of look in the stall and stuff like, are you good? And I'm like, I don't know what I said. I'd probably yell at them like, leave me alone. And but anyways, yeah, I did that. I did those drugs, man, and like I should have died. And when I did it, instead of dying like I should have and probably deserved, like I didn't die, obviously. I didn't even get high. It was like, it was the opposite. Like, I felt more clarity and peace than I'd ever felt in my life. And I, I heard God. He spoke to me, like, and I know it might sound crazy to some people, but that's what happened. He spoke to me, and mind you, like right at this moment, like literally called out audibly. I called out, like as I did these drugs that time, and as I'm doing it, and I'm in tears, and I said, God, like if you're real, man, like I'm desperate, and I don't know what to do. And I said, make me take away this desperacy and make me desperate for you.
Mm.
And those were the exact words I said. That's the exact words I said. And then that happened, and that clarity and the peace. And I heard God speak to me, and audibly, like some people say, like they heard God, like they don't really mean, like, I mean, I audibly heard something. And it's the only time I've ever heard it, but I heard it. And I said, make me desperate for you. And you know what he said, Mitchell?
Mm.
He said, okay. He said, okay. That's what I heard. And I heard the words, okay. And he said it, and that was it. And it was like, and somehow, like, I knew it was God. And he said it in such a way, like, so matter of factly, like, okay. Like, that's it. It's done. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you dummy. Like, why didn't, he's like, I've been waiting. You know what I mean? Like, it's about time. That's what I took from it. The way he said, okay. Like, he's like, it's
Mm.
about time, dummy. He's like, okay. Like, you're
Mm.
done. And that's all he said. He said, okay. And at that moment, man, sorry, I get teared up every single time.
You're
Um,
good.
at, at that moment, like, everything changed. And I don't mean in the sense that all of a sudden life was just great and grand and it was all sunshine and rainbows and stuff, because it wasn't.
Mm.
Um, but everything, everything changed. Everything within me, everything that I was, and everything, my whole outlook of life, like just inside and out, I can't even describe to you in the instant, 1 second to the next, how everything changed.
Mm.
And, and I, and I was just so happy, man. I went from those tears and that so low and dark, that desperate place, and then instantly, man, like I was just so happy and
Mm.
relieved. And I walked out of that McDonald's bathroom, man, and I guess somebody who had come in the bathroom at some point had called the cops, which I'm surprised didn't happen a lot sooner, the way I was and was acting. But like as I was walking outside, the cops were pulling in, and I went up to them, and mind you, and still I know how this might sound crazy, but it's the truth of what happened. Like, I still had some like little, like drug paraphernalia and stuff on my backpack. Like, I walked right up to the cops, and I was like I don't know, like God led me to do that. He's like, okay, like he was like, okay, now go do what you got to do, and like handle this and start living your life right, kind of thing. It's like what I took from it. I did. I walked, the cops were pulling in. I walked up to them and I said, hey, I've got drugs and stuff on me. Like, and I know you're here for me. Like, anyways, like I've got them on me. Like, you don't have to search or nothing. Like, here they are. Like, I know I got to go. And they took me to jail, and I go to jail, and man, like you've never seen somebody so happy to be in jail. Like, and it's not that I was happy, I was in jail, mind you, like, no, like, but like, I was just so happy, like all of it was over. Like
Mm.
I felt such relief, and I was like, yes, like I'm here, I can rest now. And like,
Mm.
anyways, and like, I said, it wasn't like life was just sunshine and rainbows. Like, I immediately went to jail, like the second
Mhm.
later, like 1 minute later. I say my life was changed forever. It was amazing, and I go to jail.
Yeah.
So uh, I go, and like it was like life was catching up to me, like all
Mm.
the uh, I'm in a podcast, sorry, but sorry Mitch and everybody
You're good.
listening, but anyways, life caught up to me, like all my past of wrongdoings and drugs and all that, and I knew I had to face it all, like I knew it was going to one day, and it did, but now like I was okay with it. And like I
Mm.
was like, okay, let's do this. Let's get this over with because like now like God's showed me like a new way of life and like to get on with that. Like so I dealt with it. I stayed in jail for a little while, got it all out of the way and all behind me finally. And I used that time while I was in jail, which is really truly an amazing time because like I used that time to like prepare myself, I guess, to like ready myself for whatever God had for me when
Mm.
I left there. And I used every minute of every day to do everything I could to prepare myself, like literally like preparing like a warrior for battle, like preparing for the fight of my life. Uh and I was just in the Bible 24/7 and I taught a Bible study while in the jail block. And mind you, like I had no previous like experience of going to church. I didn't even know what a church service looked like. Didn't even know what a
Mm.
Bible study looked like. I knew of the Bible, but I had never read it. I knew nothing. Like, but yet immediately I started up this Bible study and like had no clue. And like it was basically at first it was just me and one guy just kind of reading the Bible. And then like a couple more people came and a couple more people. And before you know it, like it was, I think there was 48 people, if I remember, 48 people in the block I was in. And before you know it, man, every single day at like clockwork at 7:30 p.m., over half of the block was in one little cell listening to me talk about the Bible for some reason. And it was just amazing.
Mm.
I'll never forget it. There was 13 people who got saved during that
Awesome.
time period. And dude, and I'm not kidding, like I've never seen nothing like it. Like we're in a little jail cell, and I mean it's packed shoulder to shoulder, the floor, like they're sitting up on the bunks and like on the sink and on the toilet, like anywhere that you could get in there. Like it was a packed house every night just
Mm.
to talk about Jesus and the Bible, and it was the most beautiful thing I've probably ever seen. And each time, every day, I'm like, you guys are insane, right? For listening to me. Like, you guys are crazy. But they did. And I
Mm.
loved it. And I've never felt anything so rewarding in my entire life. Like, I felt like I finally, my whole life of feeling I didn't belong, didn't know what I was doing, and trying to find it on my own. Like, I finally found it. I felt like,
Mm.
and I never stopped doing that. And I've done that now since then, since the summer of 2016. And that's all I've wanted to do is just talk about the Bible and talk about Jesus and
Mm.
help other people to hopefully come to know him like I have. And yeah, man, it's amazing. And one more little part of that story that goes right along with it that I kind of
Mm.
didn't mention, which to me this is the craziest part of all of it. This is the craziest, most insane part of it. And you can take it however you'd like, but before that moment, like I said, I had never read a Bible in my life, not one single word, never cracked the book open, not once. And when I say at that moment, everything changed, I mean everything. Like I suddenly, and I knew this immediately walking out of the bathroom stall at McDonald's, that the second prior to that moment, I knew nothing. That moment happened and I knew things about the Bible, about God, just all these things. I can't explain it, that I didn't know what they were or why I knew them. And then when I went to jail and I said I was in the Bible 24/7, like I read through the whole thing as fast as I could and then did it again. And And it was like I was not reading something for the first time, like I was learning something. It was just confirming all the things that I
Mm,
didn't know. And it was the craziest experience I've ever had in my entire life. Like that, just that particular part alone. And uh, I don't know, that's also, that just, it was what I felt like God was using to like lead me. Like, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. And to spread the
mm,
word and go teach it to other people. And that's what I've done.
that's wild. That's
And
wild, man. What a
yeah, dude.
story. Do you enjoy telling it?
Yeah, man. Whew. Yeah, I mean, I do. Like, sorry, I'm all choked up and teared up and stuff, man. And like, I'm kind of sweating here and like, got goosebumps. I got the spirit on me. Like I do. I love telling that story. I absolutely do. Because, but each time leading up to it,
Mm,
like, like everything in me and everything around, like, is like telling me, like, don't tell that story. Like, do not do it under any
mm-hmm,
circumstances. They're not going to believe, it's like, they're not going to believe you. They're
mm-hmm,
gonna think you're crazy. Like it's like they're not gonna relate. They're not gonna get it. They're gonna think that you're just some high loser that talked to himself or something, heard voices. Like,
mm.
so you know what I mean. Whatever it is, like I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
I go through that every time, and I've told this story publicly that I a lot of times, like maybe close
Yeah.
to 100 times. Like I've not counted, but I mean it's been a lot of times,
Mm-hmm,
and each time it's like that, and I wrestle with that each time. But every single time when I'm done telling it, like I'm so glad that I did, and the response has been so awesome.
mm,
And again, it's I don't want to glorify any of the bad stuff. I don't even want to glorify myself because it's not me. It's not about me. It's about God.
mm,
And if anyone at all can see God or hear or feel God at all, anything from me telling that story, then yeah, I love it.
mm.
And I'll tell it all day.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Well, I know you're a musician. So typically the
Whew.
question that I ask after the story is done is if we were going to make a book or a movie about your life, what would you want it to be called? But I feel like you're a musician, so I should ask like if you're making an album about your life, what would you want it to be called? What would your answer be?
Dude, again, you have great questions for real. You're good at this. Um, Man, that's a good question because, and honestly, before I answer your question, like it's funny you say that because there's been a few people uh in my life since then, like people I respect and look up to, like my old preacher, for example, who kind of took me under his wing, and
Mm,
he was like, Paul, he's like, you gotta, he's like, you need to write a book, like you need to tell the story, like for real, like you need to write a book. And it, like pushed me hard for a couple of years to start writing this book, which I haven't, but that always stuck with me, and you just
not
reminded me of
yet.
that. But what would I call the right, right? So what would I call this book or this album? Man, that's tough, Mitchell. Like I'm terrible with titles, dates and titles. I don't know. Do you have any suggestions?
I
I,
mean, you
I'm.
just said dates and
It's
titles.
hard.
That sounds kind of dope.
It does. It does kind of sound dope, but I don't know if it's perfectly fitting. I don't know, man. I wish I could give you something good to say right there, but I don't know. Like just like my band name, uh,
What's that?
like for like my band's name is Messenger. Like
Okay.
just like messenger, like but it's spelt differently. Like it's Mesjer
Okay.
and Mesejer, but which has many meanings, but it's biblical. The meaning, uh, basically, it's a my son's name. I named him Malachi, which in Hebrew, Malach means messenger
Mm,
of God, and then in Greek, it's angelos. I'm pronouncing that terribly. I don't do good uh, pronunciations in foreign languages, but that means angel in Greek. Malach in Hebrew means messenger. Angelos in Greek means messenger, which in English it's angel, and it's all the same word as messenger. And that's
mm.
So that's become the name of my band. And yeah, so why was I saying that? Oh yes, because for 10 years or so, like I had changed the name probably 15 times and like never really stuck with it. And like I just knew like a title of something, when you hear it, you just know it. You know what I mean? Like went over
Mm,
years and like wrote down 100 different names and like they were all really cool names and like, but then I just for some reason wrote down that misspelling of messenger and I was like, that's it. Like that's it. The light bulb just went off and I was like, I
mm.
don't know why, but that is it. And I'm sure that moment will happen with the title of this book or this album, but right now I don't know.
Not
I guess
today.
it's dates and titles.
Dates and titles for now.
If you think
Title
of anything, you let me
TBD.
know. There you go.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you might have already answered this question, but typically
Yeah.
looking back at the story itself, I love looking for different mentors, guides, and teachers that were in the story. Are there any that stick out to you that kind of
Yeah.
helped you get to where you are today?
Oh man, absolutely. Absolutely. And in many ways actually, but like I said, I didn't have any experience like in church or anything like that growing up. Like, and I just jumped head first into all of this in
Mm,
jail immediately after joining a church. Like, so I didn't know like anything, like how things work and how people were or how to be or just anything. I don't know. It was this big mystery to me, and
mm,
just like guiding me through all of that was a big deal for me. And my preacher at my church that I don't attend there anymore, but that I did attend for years, Pastor Zimple is his name. He is a great man, and I respect him so much. And like he took immediately, for some reason, took an immediate liking to me. We had a really close personal relationship that he didn't have with mo- like anybody else in the congregation,
mm,
and I always appreciated him for that and still do. And like he took me directly under his wing because it was a pretty big church, like several hundred members and several hundred guests every week. That so like he couldn't like be that personable with everyone. So I feel like he kind of kept like at a certain distance intentionally, but he took me and there
mm,
under his wing, and like he just showed me a lot, just a lot of the things that I just still had questions about, just about how everything works and all like it, and I couldn't get that experience anywhere else than firsthand with him, and it was awesome.
mm,
And he was a huge influence that helped me along with this and put me in positions to be able to tell this story and to teach
mm,
other people, to reach people that he couldn't reach and things like that. So yeah,
mm.
Pastor Zimple,
Awesome.
and then there's several other people at that church, especially but one other person that really has helped me along the way and like at times of discouragement and things that have always been there. And my good friend that I met there, his name's Brandon Houghton, and I know he watches some of my material and stuff. So if you're watching, thank you, Brandon. And he's just awesome, man. Like, and he's somebody that I would in my past life would have never been friends with, not a chance. Like, there's no way. Uh, and yeah, like, and we're just so opposite people still, and but we become such good friends. And like I've become like the biggest Bible nerd in the world since then, and he's the only person that I have ever met personally who is a bigger Bible nerd than me. And he he's a walking encyclopedia, and I've never encountered anyone who knows more about the Bible and just more knowledge than he does, and it's just
Mm,
amazing. And he's always been there, and he's had my back, and he's taught me so much, and I really appreciate Brandon.
mm. That's awesome. So, taking the wisdom of these mentors, do you have that drive to be a mentor to other people around you?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely would like to, like, I think I am in many ways, but I definitely would like to be, but that's not something I like specifically have set out to do. because the way it happened with me is the way I would like for it to happen. It just kind of happened naturally, I feel
Hmm.
like. Um, and that's how I've let it happen and would like it to continue to happen. Like some people, like they might start like a mentorship or a discipleship type of thing to where like that's the specific intention. And
Mm,
I don't have, I've been in part think it's a good idea, but in general, I think I'd rather do that in a more naturalistic way and just let those relationships form.
mm,
And
sure.
in some cases they have. Like I've met a couple guys, two come to mind in particular. Uh, one especially, Kevin. Um, and I met him by going back into the jails and stuff and teaching guys and talking to guys. And it's funny because he says he's a like I'm Paul, like that's my name, and like he says like I'm Paul, the Apostle Paul, and he's Timothy. He's my
Mm,
Timothy,
yeah.
and kind of thing. And that's been really really cool. And so yeah, I do
Mm,
love that more, way more than I thought I would.
mm.
But that goes with all of it. But I can't get enough of it, man. Like, and I only just hope
Good.
that I can do justice for God that
Mm,
like represents Him in a way that's good and that He would want to be. And I mean, I'm
mm,
human. I'm not Jesus, and I fall short, and I still mess up, and have
mm,
my own faults and things. But man, I hope I just do a good job of representing
mm.
His all.
Love that. I love that,
It's a
man.
big
Well,
responsibility.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, you're dead on. I was even thinking of the studying that I was doing this morning in scripture, and it was just talking about how we were bought with a price, and just that idea of almost being owned by God, and it is it's an odd term to think
right.
about, but it's just that idea of like He's what motivates us forward. Like He gave His life for us, and that blood covers us head to toe, and so that means that everything that we say, do, every thought that is in our mind, like it
Yeah.
is worship. Like the concept, even
Yes.
walking in obedience, is worship to God, and that's what He enjoys. And so yeah, no, you're spot on, man. That's really really
Yes.
awesome.
Yes, sir. You said it perfectly, man. Like, and it's a strange concept, and it really is one that's hard to wrap your head around. Like, I feel like a lot of people like they casually hear something like that, and they're like, "Okay, yeah, I get it," and they might on a surface level get it, but if you really like truly wrap your head around that
Mm,
idea that you are not yours and you are only alive because of Him and He's living through you and you are not your own. Like if you truly wrap your head around that concept completely, it's so such a wild concept. But when you do
mm,
it, like you truly like everything you do, you're like, am I worthy of doing, am I doing a good job? Like, is this okay? You know what I
mm.
mean? Like it's just it's so crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. It's absolutely awesome. Well, I'm kind of coming up on the end of the questions that I have for you, but one of the last ones that I have is for someone who might be scared or intimidated in sharing their story, what would you say to encourage them or challenge them?
Man, you got the best questions. And again, I wish I had better words to say immediately to answer that, but Um, so you said somebody who might be like struggling but like scared to come forth.
Hmm.
Is that what you said?
We're intimidated in, oh, why should I share my story?
Right.
How would you encourage
A
them?
phrase in the Bible that's repeated throughout the Bible, and it's not even close. It's not even a close second. Is fear not or be not afraid. So obviously, it's a pretty big deal. Yeah, it gets repeated. I forget exactly how many times, but it's upwards of 1,000 times.
Mm,
And like I said, there's no close second. So that's what I would tell them. That's don't be afraid. Don't listen to that voice in your head, and don't listen to because it's a liar. It's
mm,
a liar. Don't be afraid and just do it because it's it's gonna be worth it. It's not gonna it's gonna do you good and it's gonna help others who hear it. Like they're just don't be afraid.
Mm.
And once you do break that boundary of that fear, like I said, it's still always there. It's there every time. But
Mm.
once you break it, you know the truth, that you see why it was so hard for you to get past that fear, because of how powerful what happens on the other side about it is. And it truly is. There's nothing more powerful. And you never know who it can help
Mm.
with their own struggles, or help to bring to Jesus. And when that happens, it's the greatest feeling in the world.
Mm.
There's nothing better. So don't be afraid. That's my answer.
Mm.
Fear not.
Fear not, man. Man, I love that. I absolutely love that. One of my last question for you then, is there anything else that you sense that God wants you to share on behalf of anybody who'd be listening to the podcast?
Well, no, I think honestly that would cover it. Mm, I think my story and what I said there, and what I just said about not being afraid, I think that pretty much covers it, man. And I think if you do that, God will take care of the rest. Just don't
Awesome.
be afraid, man. And yeah, that's it. I'll leave it at that.
Appreciate it, man. Really appreciate you sharing your story here with us. I've got a silly way that I like to end the podcast, and I end with a high five with my
Okay.
guest. So what we're gonna do is
All right.
I need you to pick a number between 1 and 10 for me, and then we'll count down from that number.
Let's go with 7.
7. All right, that is the most Christian number that I've heard so far. So, we'll count down
Yes,
from
sir.
7. High five the camera, make it look like we're high fiving each other, and that'll be into the recording. All right.
Gotcha.
So,
All right, let's do it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. High five.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's Infinite Story. If it resonated with you, send it to someone you think would be blessed by it. If you would like to share your story, please reach out to us at infiniteideas.studio. You never know how far the impact of your story can reach. Take care now.